Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to some more Doki Doki Literature Club. Now, I know that last part got pretty heavy, really dark, and for a lot of people rather upsetting, myself included. At the end of my last video I did apologise to anyone who may have been affected by that in any distressing or upsetting way. Absolutely not my intention. I didn't know it was coming either. Well, I knew there was something coming, but certainly not that much. But however, I am still going to forge ahead and get through this whole thing, regardless of how dark or how distressing this might get for me. But I wouldn't wish that upon anyone else. So if it is in any way affecting you or your mental health or how you're feeling, then please don't put yourself through this. Don't put yourself in that distress. Don't put yourself through that emotional pain if you can't or don't feel like taking it, because I wouldn't wish that upon anyone. Furthermore, we are going to write this poem. I was toying up with the idea of what I was going to do. Honestly, like with the events of that last part, choosing someone to date seems like the least of my worries. But from what I've seen so far of, since the restart, things have been transpiring more or less the same way, or at least they've been trying to go as close as they can without the presence of Sayori. Like, different people have been saying things to get us to the same point, but we're still kind of following the same path, I guess, so far. So I think because we've already experienced it once going down the Yuri route, it kind of makes sense to me to do the same, to see what does differ, what is the difference. Because if we go down the Natsuki route, having never seen that before, it's all going to be brand new and we're not really going to see what the difference may or may not have been. So I'm going to go down the Yuri route. I'm not going to spend nearly as much time writing these poems. I'm just going to pick words that are, kind of the Yuri direction. Okay, so let's get going. Infallible, after image, adventure. Oh, that was. Oh well, it's fine to have both, I guess. Unrestrained, ambient, misfortune, forgive, essence, whisper. Okay, raindrops. Yeah. Entropy, embrace, vibrant, extraordinary, insight, inferno, effulgent. I don't even know if I'm saying that word right. And incapable. Destiny. Okay. So I'm fully expecting some kind of uncomfortable parts, some uncomfortable moments, some bits that might affect me, but I'm quite tense going through each line of dialogue now, so forgive me if it doesn't sound like my heart's in the voice lines as much as it was previously, but I'm going to do my best anyway. Hi again! Glad to see you didn't run away on us. Nah, don't worry. This might be a little strange for me, but I at least kept my word. Well, I'm back at the Literature Club. I was the last to come in, so everyone else was already hanging out. I can't help but notice that there was no before school walking to school this time. I'm sure that's an intentional thing. Oh. Can we not do that, please? Like, already my hair is standing on end and I'm tense. Thanks for keeping your promise. I hope this isn't too overwhelming of a commitment for you. Making you dive headfirst into literature when you're not accustomed to it? Fuck. Oh god, I don't know why these are just getting me so, like, just. Also, the music kind of slowing down and changing key and all that is also really off-putting as well. But like, these are such simple animations, yet they're just getting me. Oh, come on. Like he deserves any slack. You already had to be dragged here by Monika. I don't know if you plan to just come here and hang out or what, but if you don't take us seriously, then you won't see the end of it. Can I see the words, please? Natsuki, you certainly have a big mouth for someone who keeps her manga collection in the club room. Natsuki finds herself stuck between saying Monika and manga. Manga is literature! Swiftly defeated, Natsuki plops back into her seat. I'm sorry. We'll make sure to put your comfort first, okay? Yuri shoots Natsuki with a disappointed glance. Anyway. Now that you're in the club and all, perhaps you might have an interest in picking up a book to read? Well, I can't really say no either way. Like you said, I'm in this club now. That sudden music change is really jarring. I know they're doing it on purpose to keep you tense and unsure. So it only feels right for me to do something like that if you ask. Wait, I didn't mean it like that. If you don't want to, then forget I said anything, I guess. It's like, no, it's not that, Yuri. I want to try to be a part of this club. So even if I don't read often, I'd be happy to pick up a book if you wanted me to. Are you sure? I just felt like, well, as vice president and all, that I should help you get started on something you might like. Yuri reaches into her bag and pulls out a book. I didn't want you to feel left out, so I picked out a book that I thought you might enjoy. It's a short read, so it should keep your attention, even if you don't usually read. And we could, you know, discuss it, if you wanted. How is this girl accidentally being so cute? She even picked out a book she thinks I'll like, despite me not reading much. Yuri, thank you. I'll definitely read this. I enthusiastically take the book. Phew. Well, you can read it at your own pace. I look forward to hearing what you think. Now that everyone's settled in, I expected Monika to kick off some scheduled activities for the club. That doesn't seem to be the case. Yuri's face is already buried in a book. I can't help but notice her intense expression, like she was waiting for this chance. Meanwhile, Natsuki is rummaging about in the closet. I'm really curious to talk to Yuri a little bit more. But at the same time, I would feel bad for distracting her from reading. I catch a glimpse at the cover of her book. Looks like the same book that she lent to me. More than that, she seems to be on the first few pages. Crap. I think she noticed me looking at her. She sneaks another glance at me, and our eyes meet for a split second. But then only makes her hide her face deeper in her book. Sorry. I was just spacing out. I mutter this, sensing I made her uncomfortable. Oh, it's fine. If I was focused, then I probably wouldn't have noticed in the first place. But I'm just rereading a bit of this, so... That's the book you gave me, right? Is it just me, or are her eyes wider than they should be? I've only just noticed it, but like this eye is like supposed to be here. I've literally just noticed that, and it's really creeped me out looking at it now. Actually, it's slowly drifting. Whoa. It's getting further and further away from her face. That is really fucking creepy. Okay, I'm just going to try to ignore that and keep going. I wanted to reread some of it. Okay, there it goes back. Okay. Ooh, that was creeping me out. Not for any particular reason. Just curious, how come you have 2 copies of the same book? Well, when I stopped at the bookstore yesterday... that's not what I meant. I mean... I just happened to buy 2 of them. Ah, I see. So this is pretty much exactly what kind of happened the last time round. There's something fairly obvious here that Yuri isn't telling me, but I decided to let it go. I'll definitely start reading it soon. I'm glad to hear. Once it starts to pick up, you might have a hard time putting it down. It's a very engaging and relatable story. Is that so? What's the story about, anyway? Well, I look at the cover of the book. The book is titled Portrait of Markov. There's an ominous-looking eye symbol on the front cover. Basically, it's about this religious camp that was turned into a human experiment prison. And the people trapped there have this trait that turns them into killing machines that lust for blood. That's not the description we had last time, is it? But the facility gets even worse, and they start selectively breeding people by cutting off their limbs and affixing them to... Oh, that might be a little bit of a spoiler. But anyway, I'm really into it. I'm fairly sure that's not the description she gave the first time. The book, I mean. Not the thing about the limbs. That's kind of... It's kind of dark, isn't it? Yuri made it sound like it was going to be a nice story, so that dark turn came from nowhere. Are you not a fan of that sort of thing? No, it's not that. I mean, I can definitely enjoy those kinds of stories, so don't worry. I hope so. Yeah, I totally forgot that Yuri is into those things. She's so shy and reclusive on the outside, but her mind seems to be completely different. It's just that this kind of story, it's the kind of challenges it's the kind that challenges you to look at life from a strange new perspective. When horrible things happen, not just because someone wants to be evil. Okay, but because the world is full of horrible people, and we're all worthless anyway. Okay. I'm rambling, aren't I? Not again. I'm sorry. Hey, don't apologize. I'm really tense now again. I haven't lost interest or anything. Well, I guess it's alright then. But I feel like I should let you know that I have this problem. When I let things like books and writing fill my thought... Whoa. I kind of forget to pay attention to other people. So I'm sorry if I end up saying something strange. And please, stop me if I start talking too much. I really don't think you need to worry. That just means you're passionate about reading. The least I can do is listen. It's a literature club after all. Well, that's true. In fact, I might as well get started reading it, right? Fuck. I'm not normally bad with these kind of things, but Christ, this just keeps getting me. Yes. I mean, you don't have to, but... What are you saying? Let me just get the book. I quickly retrieved the book that I had put into my bag. Alright, it's fine if I sit here, right? I slip into the seat next to Yuri's. Yeah? Are you sure? You seem a little apprehensive. I'm sorry. It's not that I don't want you to. It's just something I'm not very used to. That is, reading in company with someone. I see. Well, just tell me if I end up distracting you or anything. Alright. I open the book and start the prologue. I soon understand what Yuri means about reading in company. It's as if I can feel her presence over my shoulder as I read. It's not a particularly bad thing. Maybe a little distracting, but the feeling is somewhat comforting. Yuri is in the corner of my eye. I realise that she's not actually looking at her own book. I glance over. It looks like she's reading from my book instead. Sorry. Whoa. What did I say? I was just bathing in the something? I didn't even catch what the other half was. Yuri, you really apologise a lot, don't you? I do? I don't really mean to. Sorry. I mean... Here, this should work, right? I slide my desk until it's up against Yuri's, then hold my book more between the two of them. I suppose so. Yuri timidly closes her own copy. Once we each lean in a little bit, our shoulders are almost touching. It feels like my left arm is in the way, so I instead use my right hand to hold the book open. I guess that kind of makes it kind of difficult to turn the page. Here. Yuri takes her left arm and holds the left side of the book between her thumb and forefinger. Now you see, this kind of a perspective is gonna fucking terrify me if something jumps out at me. I do the same with my right arm on the right side of the book. That way, I turn a page and Yuri slides it under her thumb after it flips to her side. But in holding it like this, we're huddled even closer together than before. It's actually kind of distracting me. It's as if I can feel the warmth of Yuri's face, and she's in the corner of my vision. Are you ready? To turn the page? Sorry. I think I got a bit distracted for a second. She's looking at me. I glance over at Yuri's face again, and our eyes meet. I don't know how I'll be able to keep up with her. That's okay. You're not as used to reading, right? I don't mind being patient if it takes you a bit longer. It's probably the least I can do. Since you've been so patient with me. Yeah. Thanks. We continue reading. Yuri no longer asks me if I'm ready to turn the page. Instead, I just assume she finishes the page before me, so I turn it by my own volition. We continue the first chapter in silence. Even so, turning each page almost feels like an intimate exchange. My thumb gently letting go of the page, letting it flutter over to her side as she catches it under her own thumb. Hey Yuri, this might be a silly thought, but the main character kinda reminds me of you a little bit. Huh? No, I don't relate to this character at all. Definitely not. Really? I was just thinking the way she second guesses things she says and all that. That's what you were talking about? Sorry. You see, this is kind of seen now in a different light because we know that she loves knives. She when we had our wee little date thing, like when we nicked ourselves, she like put our finger in her mouth because she is into that kind of stuff. I get the impression that she might also be self-harming because one of the things that when we came back into the room with water, she was pulling down her sleeve hurriedly. So I think that puts a different spin on this book now, that she is actually into those dark things, and that's why she got so defensive about that. But anyway, sorry. I thought you meant something else about her. Something else? Never mind. We didn't even get that far yet. So I don't know why that came into my head. She looks really weird. Yuri, are you feeling alright? Huh? Yuri's been a little fidgety ever since we started reading. You can rest if you're feeling sick or something. Your breathing is a little... Your breathing? This is entirely different now. This didn't happen. Yuri puts her hands on her chest as if to feel her heartbeat. I didn't even notice. Anyway, I'm fine. I just need some water. Oh yeah, we don't have tea this time. Alright, don't push yourself. Yuri stands up and practically rushes out of the classroom. What on earth was that about? Perpheral? Did something happen just now? I've no idea. Yuri was acting a little strange, I guess. So you don't know anything? Sorry, can't say I do. Are you worried about her? Oh, no, not really. I was just making sure that you didn't do anything to her. Excuse me? No, nothing. Don't worry, I believe you, silly. Yuri just does this sometimes, so it's nothing alarming. Alright, if you say so. Anyway, why don't we start sharing our poems with each other? Shouldn't we wait for Yuri? Well, she might be a while, so I just figured we'd get started without her. Is that okay? Yeah, I was just asking. I stand up. I make a mental note of where I left off in the book, and then slip it back into my bag. Okay, 2 choices. Interesting change, anyway. Let's just do Monika first, because I have a feeling Monika is going to be a bit of a weird one. I should start with Monika. Yesterday she seemed eager to read my poem, and I wanted to know I'm putting in effort. Hi, Perpheral. Having a good time so far? Ah, yeah. Good, glad to hear it. By the way, since you're new and everything, if you ever have any suggestions for the club, like new activities or things we can do better, I'm always listening. Don't be afraid to bring things up, okay? Alright, I'll keep that in mind. Of course I'll be afraid to bring things up. I'm much better off just going with the flow until I'm more settled in. Anyway, want to share your poem with me? It's kind of embarrassing, but I guess I have to. Don't worry, we're all a little embarrassed today, you know. But it's that sort of barrier that we'll all learn to get past soon. Yeah, that's true. I hand Monika my poem. Great job. I was going ooh in my head while reading it. It's really metaphorical. I'm not sure why, but I didn't expect you to go for something so deep. I guess I underestimated you. It's easiest for me to keep everyone's expectations low. That way, it always counts when I put some effort in. That's not very fair. Well, I guess it worked anyway. You know that Yuri likes this kind of writing, right? Writing that's full of imagery and symbolism. Sometimes I feel like Yuri's mind is just totally detached from reality. I don't mean that like it's a bad thing though. But sometimes I get the impression that she's just totally given up on people. She spends so much time in her own head that it's probably a much more interesting place for her. But that's why she gets so happy when you treat her with a lot of kindness. I don't think she's used to being indulged like that. She must be really starved for social interaction, so don't blame her for coming on a little strongly. I think this is also different to what she said the last time. Like earlier. I think if she gets too stimulated, she ends up withdrawing and looking for alone time. Suddenly, the door opens. Yuri! I'm back. Did I miss anything? Not really. Well, we all started sharing our poems with each other. Huh? Already? I'm sorry for being late. No need to apologize. We still have plenty of time, so I'm more glad that you took all the time you needed. Alright. Thanks, Monika. I suppose I should go get my poem now. Anyway, do you want to read my poem now? Don't worry, I'm not very good. You sound pretty confident for someone who claims to not be very good. Well, that's because I have to sound confident. That doesn't mean I always feel that way, you know? I see. Well, let's read it then. Oh, this is different. This is an entirely different poem. Hole in wall. But he wasn't looking at me. Confused, I frantically glance at my surroundings. But my burned eyes can no longer see colour. Are there others in this room? Are they talking? Or are they simply poems on flat sheets of paper? The sound of frantic scrawling playing tricks on my ears. The room begins to crinkle, closing in on me. The air I breathe dissipates before it reaches my lungs. I panic. There must be a way out. It's right there. He's right there. Swallowing my fears, I brandish my pen. Okay, interesting. Let's have a quick breakdown of this. Something's missing. She's burned her eye. She's seen something that she can't unsee. I wonder if that's like a fourth wall break to obviously the events that have happened, but we've reset. Are there others in this room? Are they talking? She's disconnected. She can no longer see colour. It doesn't feel like she's a part of reality anymore. Or are they simply poems on flat sheets of paper? The sound of frantic scrawling playing tricks on my ears. So it's like the idea of it not being reality. The room begins to crinkle, closing in on me. The air I breathe dissipates before it reaches my lungs. That's kind of the idea of, like, if someone doesn't like a poem, they just, like, tear at the page and scrunch it up. But she is the poem. Like the room around her is beginning to crinkle. She's in the middle of the poem. It's closing in on her. There must be a way out. It's right there. He's right there. Swallowing my fears, I brandish my pen. I'm not sure what that's suggesting. Obviously, she's found a way out of being stuck in this limbo almost. But it seems like the way out is for her to, you know, to get stuff down on paper to express herself. Is that? I think that's kind of what it's getting at. So, what do you think? It's very freeform, if that's what you call it. Sorry, I'm not really the right person to ask for feedback. It's okay. Yeah, that kind of style has gotten pretty popular nowadays. That is, a lot of poems have been putting emphasis on the timing between words and lines. When performed out loud, it can be really powerful. What was the inspiration behind this one? Well, I'm not sure if I know how to put it. I guess you could say I had a kind of epiphany recently. It's been influencing my poems a bit. An epiphany? Yeah, something like that. I'm kind of nervous to talk about deep stuff like that because it's kind of coming on strongly. Maybe after everyone is better friends with each other. Anyway, here's Monika's writing tip of the day. Sometimes, when you're writing a poem or a story, your brain gets too fixated on a specific point. If you try so hard to make it perfect, then you'll never make any progress. Just force yourself to get something down on the paper and tidy it up later. Another way to think about it is, if you keep your pen in the same spot for too long, you'll just get a big dark puddle of ink. So just move your hand and go with the flow. That's my advice for today, which I think is the same advice you gave last time. Thanks for listening! Okay, so Yuri's back. Let's do Yuri last, because I don't want to... I was kind of gonna go Monika Natsuki, and I assumed Yuri wouldn't come back, but we're gonna stick with what we were gonna go with, so Natsuki. Huh? Oh fuck. I didn't know what was going on there. I thought my game had crashed. Fuck. Okay. We can keep going. We can keep going. Perpheral. If you're not going to take this club seriously, then go home. What? Harsh? What? You expected me to believe that you actually put effort into this? Do you think I'm stupid? I'm not a writer. Maybe it's not very good, but yeah, I did put in effort. We all start somewhere, right? If you're still proud of the first poem you ever wrote, then I'd like to read it. Painful to think about? Fine. Well, sorry. You'll get better anyway. I don't think she was this harsh on us the last time. I tell you what to improve, but you're better off just trying again. Fair enough. Well, to each their own, I guess. Anyway, I guess I gotta share mine now. Knowing you'll probably think it's stupid. Okay, so this is the same poem than the first time round, and we kind of already had a breakdown of that. So there's no point in going through this again. I think it's just like, choose your own eagles fly, people can try. Yeah, that's the same. Yeah, I told you that you weren't gonna like it. I do like it. What? Just be honest. I am. Why are you so convinced that I wouldn't like it? Well, because everyone in high school thinks that writing has to be all sophisticated and stuff. So people don't even take my writing seriously. But isn't the point of poems for people to express themselves? Your writing style wouldn't make your message any less valid. Yes, exactly! I like when it's easy to read, but it hits you hard. Like in this poem. Seeing everyone around you do great things can be really disheartening. So I decided to write about it. Yeah, I understand. But the other nice thing about simple writing is that it puts more weight on the wordplay. Like, I set up for a rhyme at the end, but then made it fall flat on purpose. Helps bring out the feeling in the last line. So you did. I guess more went into it than I realized. I do have to say, one thing I have liked about Natsuki's poems is the actual the word play itself, as opposed to the metaphorical or the implied meaning of it. It's actually, it's very clever in terms of, you know, how the lines feel, how they rhyme, how they don't, that kind of thing. That's what it means to be a pro. I'm glad you learned something. Didn't expect that from the youngest one here, did you? Yeah? Guess not. I decided to humour her with that last comment. I don't really care how old everyone is, but if Natsuki's feeling proud, then I won't take that away from her. Okay, well, here we go. Let's see if this differs. And please don't do something to me this time like you did with Natsuki. As Yuri reads the poem, I notice her eyes lighten. Exceptional. Huh? What was that? Did I say that out loud? Yuri first covers her mouth, but then ends up covering her whole face. He's gonna hate me. You really didn't do anything wrong, Yuri. That's... I guess you're right. What am I getting so nervous for? Yuri takes a breath. So, what kind of writing experience do you have? Your use of imagery and metaphors indicates you've written a lot of poetry before. Really? Wow, that's a huge compliment coming from you. This is actually my first time, really. Huh? Yuri stares at me blankly, then looks at my poem again. Well, I know that. I just meant, Yuri trails off, unable to find an excuse. She traces her fingers along the words in the poem, as if breaking it down more thoroughly. Yeah. Okay. This is the reason I was able to tell. It's just there are specific writing habits that are usually typical of new writers. And having been through that myself, I kind of learned to pick up on them. I think the most noticeable thing I recognize in new writers is they try to make their style very deliberate. In other words, they tend to pick a writing style separate from the topic matter, and they form-fit the two together. The end result is that both the style and the expressiveness are weakened. Once Yuri finds her train of thought, it's as if her demeanour totally changes. Her stammering is completely gone, and she sounds like an expert. Of course, that's not something you can be blamed for. There are so many different skills and techniques that go into writing even a simple poem. Not just finding them and building them, but getting them to work together is probably the most challenging part. It might take you some time, but it all comes with practice, and learning by example, and trying new things. I also hope that everyone else in the club gives you valuable feedback. Natsuki can be a little biased, though. Biased? How? Well, never mind. I shouldn't be talking about people like that. Sorry. It's fine. I'm not sure if Yuri is apologizing to herself, to me, or to Natsuki. Do you mind if I read your poem now? Please do. I'd love to share my thought process behind it. Yuri smiles dreamily, as if that's a rare opportunity for her, so I'm really curious if this is different. Which itself is kind of funny. After all, isn't this supposed to be a literature club? I feel like this is different, but I'm not 100%. I can't remember if this is the same poem as the last time. Ghost under the light. The tendrils of my hair illuminate beneath the amber glow. Bathing. It must be this one. The last remaining streetlight to have withstood the test of time. The last yet to be replaced by the sickening blue-green hue of the future. I bathe. Calm, breathing air of the present but living in the past. The light flickers. I flicker back. Yeah, that definitely sounds familiar to me, and I know that the poem that she gave us was Ghost Under the Light Part 2, to the best of my recollection. So I do think this was the first one that she gave us before as well. I'm sorry, I have such terrible handwriting. What? I wasn't thinking about that at all. But it took you a long time to read. Well, I just don't read script very often. I actually think your handwriting's pretty. Huh? That's a relief. Also, I liked the poem. Even though it's short, it was really descriptive. It wasn't too short. I usually write longer poems. Not at all. I'm really glad you liked it. I'll be honest. Since it's our first time sharing, I wanted to write something a little more mild. Something easy to digest, I suppose. Are you into ghosts, Yuri? Actually, the story isn't about a ghost at all. Really? I must have totally missed the point. Well, I suppose you did only glance over it after all. But remember that poets often express their own thoughts, feelings, and experiences in their work. They usually do more than tell a simple story or paint a picture. In this case, perhaps the subject of the poem is only being symbolically compared to a ghost, lingering in her last remaining place of comfort, unable to let go of the past. Soon to be left with nothing. That feels more poignant this second time around as well. That's a lot more solemn, putting it that way. I hadn't even thought of that. It's impressive. Huh? It's nothing, really. Yours was impressive too, so... Nah. If anything, I could probably learn a thing or two from you. You think so? Yeah, of course. You know, I was really nervous about doing all this. But in the end, I enjoyed it. I'm going to keep doing my best for you. Me too. Phew. I guess that's everyone. I glance around the room. That was a little more stressful than I anticipated. It's as if everyone is judging me for my mediocre writing abilities. The music's doing that thing again. I don't like it. Even if they're just being nice, there's no way my poems can stand up to theirs. This is a literature club after all. I sigh. I guess that's what I ended up getting myself into. Across the room, Monika is writing something in her notebook. My eyes land on Yuri and Natsuki. They gingerly exchange sheets of paper, sharing their respective poems. As they read in tandem, I watch each of their expressions change. This is where they have the row, and Sayori was able to jump in and calm it all down, so I have no idea what's going to happen this time. Natsuki's eyebrows furrow in frustration. Meanwhile, Yuri smiles sadly. What's with this language? Huh? Did you say something? Oh, it's nothing. Natsuki dismissively returns the poem to the desk with one hand. I guess you could say it's fancy. Thanks. Yours is cute. Cute? Did you completely miss the symbolism or something? It's clearly about the feeling of giving up. How can that be cute? I know that. I just meant the language, I guess. I was trying to say something nice. Huh? You mean you have to try that hard to come up with something nice to say? Thanks, but it really didn't come out nice at all. Well, I do have a couple suggestions. If I was looking for suggestions, I would have asked someone who actually liked it. Which people did, by the way. Monika liked it. Perpheral did too. So based on that, I'll gladly give you some suggestions of my own. First of all, excuse me. I appreciate the offer, but I've spent a long time establishing my writing style. I don't expect it to change anytime soon, unless of course I come across something particularly inspiring, which I haven't yet. And Perpheral liked my poem too, you know. He even told me he was impressed by it. Why has the music stopped? I don't like where this is going anymore. Natsuki suddenly stands up. Oh? I didn't realize you were so invested in trying to impress our new member, Yuri. Okay. that felt like it was going to be really tense. That's not what I... You're just... Yuri stands up as well. Maybe you're just jealous that Perpheral appreciates my advice more than he appreciated yours. Huh? And how do you think he didn't appreciate my advice more? Are you that full of yourself? No. If I was full of myself, I would deliberately go out of my way to make everything I do overly cutesy. Well, you know what? I wasn't the one whose boobs magically grew a size bigger as soon as Perpheral started showing up. Natsuki! Natsuki, that's a little... This doesn't involve you. Taking out your own... Stop. Stop. You really act as young as you look, Natsuki. Me? Look who's talking, you wannabe edgy bitch. Edgy? Sorry that my lifestyle is too much for someone of your mental age to comprehend. See? Just saying that proves my point. Most people learn to get over themselves after they graduate middle school, you know. If you want to prove anything, then stop harassing others with your sickening attitude. Think you can counterbalance your toxic personality just by dressing and acting cute? The only cute thing about you is how hard you try. Whoa, be careful, you might cut yourself on that edge, Yuri. Oh, my bad. You already do, don't you? Did you just accuse me of cutting myself? What the fuck is wrong with your head? Yeah, go on. Let Perpheral hear everything you really think. I'm sure he'll be head over heels for you after this. Suddenly Yuri turns towards me as if she just noticed I was standing here. Perpheral, she's just trying to make me look bad. That's not true. She started it. Fuck, stop. I don't like this. Can we please stop? Stop. Please. Please. Hey, Perpheral. Why don't we step outside for a little bit? Okay? Okay. That was a bit more intense than I liked. Sorry about that. They really shouldn't have tried to get you involved. It's probably better for us to stay out of this. We'll go back inside once they're done yelling. Some president I am, right? I can't even confront my own club members properly. I just wish I was able to be a little more assertive sometimes. But I never have it in me to put my foot down against others. You understand, right? Anyway, if this makes you want to spend less time with the others, then that's fine. I'd be happy to spend time with you instead. Suddenly, Natsuki runs out of the classroom. Oh, she's crying. She quickly runs away. Oh dear. Well, it looks like they're done. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. Yuri is rocking back and forth in her desk with her palms on her forehead. Yuri? I didn't mean it. I believe you. I've no idea what Yuri might have said to Natsuki. Or did. Perpheral, please don't hate me. Please. I'm not like this. There's something wrong with me today. It's fine, Yuri. We know you didn't mean it. Besides, I'm sure Natsuki will forget all about it by tomorrow. Completely. Anyway, the meeting is over, so you can go home now if you want. Yuri looks at me like she wants to say something, but she keeps glancing at Monika. You can go first, Monika. I'd like to stay a little longer. I'm the president, so I should be the last one out. I'll wait for you to be done. Well, I'm vice president, so please let me take that responsibility today. Kind of sounds like you don't want me around for something, Yuri. It's not that. It's not that. I didn't get much of a chance to discuss my book with Perpheral. It would just be embarrassing with you listening. Guess I don't really have a choice, do I? I'm sorry for causing trouble. But I really... Fuck, that frightened the shit out of me so much, I accidentally clicked. Can we... Yeah, I'm sorry for causing trouble, but I really appreciate you understand. Okay, well... I think that's quite enough for now. If anyone's interested, I am actually physically shaking. Because I'm just that tense all the time now. But again, it's really showing the difference of Sayori not being here. You know, she stepped in to interrupt that argument before it got this bad, and she prevented Yuri being like this. She prevented Natsuki, you know, getting so upset and crying and storming out. You know, she was vitally important to the mechanics and how the club worked. And you know, it's as creepy and as off-putting and unsettling as this all is, it's really showing the impact one person can have. And I do quite like that they're showing just how different the same events can be without someone so integral to the group. But that said, I'm going to save this next poem now until the next part, and I'm going to take a bit of a break because playing through this has become increasingly more draining, I have to say. So we're going to call it here, and we'll get stuck into this next part next time. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you real soon.